Modern Dad Society, we back. The wife's out for a walk with her sister because today we're talking about money, financing, investments, and all the mistakes I've made because there's only very few success stories. But hey, I learned along the way, I learned the process, and lo and behold, came out on the other side with the education to best strategize and best set myself up for the future. However, I was like 35 ish when I started the successful positive strategy. But the story is, back in the day when I first started dabbling into investments, it started with the cannabis and the marijuana skyrocketing trend. I was young. It was relatively the first time I decided to start like investing my money. It was cash in like a tax-free savings account. Kind of understood that part of things, being, tax-free savings account versus RSPs versus pension versus locked in versus not locked in. So slap that stuff in. I can't remember if it was TD or Questrade at that point in time, but I got suckered into all the $1, $2, $3. Got the Aurora, got that other one that had the alcohol brand with it. Oh my God, I can't even remember. Weird one called Namaste, and there's countless others. So it skyrocketed, and I took 20 grand and made it 80 grand. But stupid me, I didn't fully realize, well, when you're ahead and like 5 times ahead or 4 times ahead or 3 times ahead, just sell the damn thing. So obviously I didn't, plummeted, and I sold just enough to make a little bit of money, which in hindsight was still good. It was a few percent, would have been just like a high savings account in my bank account. But the headache, the stress, the emotional roller coaster I went on probably was not worth like 2% over the course of a year. But at least that helped me learn and grow how I was to set myself up. So I thought. Next phase came into play. I decided to start dabbling in, I think it was solar and like weird energy stuff. Actually, no, that's wrong. Yeah, no, that is right. And I dabbled in that one. Really was an idiot. Played with like kind of penny-ish stocks, anywhere between 10 cents and a dollar. Absolute nightmare. Lost probably 10 grand on that one. And like when I say 10 grand, like I was only, investing almost kind of everything I had at that point in time, which, wasn't that much. So 10 grand was like chopping off my leg. Um, and yeah, that was painful because the stock all of a sudden hit a number and then it went bankrupt. So everything was locked and gone. So that emotional roller coaster was like a year and a half, 2 years. Totally not worth it. But, thought I learned from the cannabis. Nope. Thought I learned from this one. Well, next up, mining stocks. Oh, like I'm no rock sniffer. So I had zero intelligence, and I probably, well, looking back, zero research, zero thought into the mining stocks I put myself into. It's like you look at it, you're like, oh, there's a couple ups, couple downs. It's like, you know what, let's throw some money here, throw some money there. And yeah, long story short, just like Frank's slide, it all came crashing down. Was left with nothing, lost more money. So at that point in time, out of the cannabis phase, mining phase, and the solar energy phase, I was like almost pretty much maybe 1 or 2% where I was 6 years ago, which it's like over the course of 6 years, I made zero. Did I lose? I don't think I lost. All I remember is that I was pretty much break even, and I told myself, I was like, you know what, Jason, you're an idiot. Get your shit together. You're in your early 30s. How can you strategize a plan that is successful and goes uphill and less stress? I don't need to be checking 10, 20 different stocks a day. Like, I don't have time for that, and I don't have that drive to do that. So I should have taken that knowledge and been like, if I don't have the drive to monitor all these stocks, why am I investing in so many and trying to kind of day trade? I wouldn't say day trade, I would say like week trade, maybe every couple day trade. So, you know what? Over the course of 6 years, I didn't make any money, but the education, learning, and calmness by watching the markets and watching your money grow or slide and making the appropriate non-emotional, that's the biggest thing, non-emotional trades and non-emotional education and learning. It's like, read it for the facts of what it is. Don't try to invent, oh, you kind of read an update on Air Canada or TD Canada or the rail lines, or, oh, now COVID hit and it's like oil stocks here are just skyrocketing. But it's like all of a sudden there's a downturn. There's always a downturn. There's always an up and a down. So I told myself the strategy coming into my early 30s and the process for the future is solidifying some good RSPs and good pensions where I just don't look at it. It's work related. It's a chunk of money that I don't day trade. Look at it every like month or two. It's like that big conglomerate portfolio of money. So that I need to let sit. Don't overthink it. Let it sit. The other chunk of money, I chose a few strategic stocks. One of them is Air Canada. I know, guys. You're going to get mad about that one. But one of them is Air Canada. Starbucks as well. I know you're going to get mad at that for that. Starbucks has been on a wild ride. However, the strategy behind it is as these stocks go up and down 1 or 2 or 3%, or even 10 or 20%, we all know Air Canada goes from $16 or less to like 30 in the course of a year. So my strategy is 8% a year, or no, I think it's 6% or more is the average. So I told myself 8%, more than happy. 10%, super bonus. More than that is just like a plethora of, if I hit that in February, I just sell everything to cash and just leave it there. And then I got a free and clear 10 months of just no stress. Or maybe put in something easy, like something that won't go up or down, or more solid, which to this day and age, I don't even know what stock I would put in for 10 months and leave it. It's just terrifying how much this stuff goes up and down. So long story short, the strategy is, yes, buy and sell, only a few times a year, but make sure that buy and sell is, you kind of track the up and downs. You always know it's like a W all the time. W throughout the week, blah, 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 blah. So you track when it drops a bit, you buy in, goes up 1.5%, you sell. Because if you do that 8 times over the course of 12 months, well, you're pretty much at 10%. Sure, make a couple mistakes. If it drops 1%, if you're watching the charts in the news and you know it's like, maybe I'll risk it. It's more of a strategy and a non-emotional decision to leave it or to sell it. So if you leave it, well, and it goes down, sell it. Don't take the risk. We're early 30s, we're not in our 20s. We don't have a lifetime ahead of us, or we don't have that extra 15 years ahead of us. So you sell it. So what I've been doing is that strategy. Non-emotional, even if it goes up 1 or 2%, sell it. If it goes up another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6%, that's okay. It'll drop. They always drop. There's always something dumb in the market that makes it drop. Starbucks, Air Canada, even, well, TD has gone crazy up. Oil stocks have gone crazy up. I'm scared to kind of dabble in that because like there's going to be a crash at some point. So it's keeping that strategy, ensuring you do have cash to buy in when some things dip. And it doesn't have to be your whole portfolio. If you have, you're thinking it's like, okay, not emotional, but I do, want to play a little bit, want to risk a little bit. Do 10% of your money or 20%, $5,000 here, 10 grand there. Because even if you make 1 or 2 or 3% on 10 grand or part of your portfolio, that's still a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 into the plus. And that adds up. The 0.1s, 0.2s, 0.3%, it adds up over the course of the year. But the strategy is a little bit more secure, little less risky than buying into all these crazy stocks and just trying to let them ride. Oh yeah, forgot to talk about Bitcoin. I was a little bit scared about Bitcoin, so I didn't dive into it at all. But it's like an honorable mention, just like the planking challenge when it comes to fads. Bitcoin and all that crypto, terrifying. So I didn't dabble in that at all. That's a lie. I put like $50 or $100 in to try to make a crypto wallet. And long story short, it was just too exhausting to figure out. I didn't have the mental capacity and the drive to learn about it. I know people who, made a lot of money. Good for them. Absolutely, you know, appreciate those people who learn and track that stuff and really push themselves to learn the technology. Like kudos. And yeah, happy for them. Absolutely. Whereas for me, I'm happy with my small strategy, like GameStop or EB Games or whatever that game store was, and it just skyrocketed. And then Seth Rogen made a movie about it. I watched that, but because I already made mistakes in the cannabis world, in the mining world, in the solar world, I was like, don't really touch that, Jason. It's tempting. Don't touch that. Because you watch the chart fall and you watched all those people sell, making money, and all those people buying and then losing a fortune. It was terrifying to watch. And that mental roller coaster, even watching it was stressful enough, let alone trying to make money on it. So, long story short, as you grow up over the decades, make some mistakes with some money. Don't make mistakes with all your money. You got to live, you got to learn, you got to experience it for yourself. And as much as my parents taught me, and as much as I've tried to teach my kid, there's some things you got to learn by yourself that will really solidify the strategy and the plan for the long term, because you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anyone else. So take your time, invest early, even if it's a little bit, and just enjoy the process, knowing that you'll learn something as the shifts of the market, new technology comes into play, and maybe you make extra money. Maybe you have a tax-free savings account that you pull out some money and you play around. Maybe you have, like myself, a solid strategy of pensions and RSPs that just kind of go a couple percent a year. And then you got a little bit of money that, hey, if you lose a little bit, you gain a little bit. But on average, try to hit that 6, 8, 10%. Maybe you'll get lucky and hit 20, 25. Some of my accounts did, because I got a couple different accounts between the wife and myself. Some hit 20+%, some hit 10%. So you got to take those wins and just appreciate it. And don't beat yourself up, and forge ahead. All right, guys. Jason Lucas here. Modern Dad Society. Glad to have you. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. You know what? Stick around. Watch some other videos. Appreciate it, guys. This has been fun. I like doing it. Maybe one day I'll make $1 on YouTube. Maybe not. But I'm doing it for the fun, to teach myself stuff, and to just, learn more about myself. Remember things. Remember stories. Remember the past. Remember the mistakes. Remember the things I've learned. Because a lot of times we forget more than what we learn. And it's crazy. So, Jason Lucas here. Wife's out for a walk. I'm going to go check on to see what the kid's doing. She's in summer school. Catch you guys later.